What's up, everybody? Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, and all of that. We at it again. Mm. That water be hitting different when you're about to talk and you take a little sip, but we at it again like usual. Today is June 2nd. Like, yeah, I don't know what day it is if y'all listening to it as today and the day that this will be posted, I guess. I don't know. Y'all know me. I never know how to start this thing. But all I know is I hope everybody's doing okay. We at it again. We're doing that whole video and audio thing. And I haven't even made it public my first video with this podcast that I made. And if when I do and you see any of my podcasts on YouTube, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And also like, comment, and literally subscribe to on my podcast, on Anchor. Everything will be on the description below on the video, so that way it makes it easier for y'all lazy ass people. So that's that, and we're gonna do that, and let's focus on that. And actually, I'm kidding. Let's not focus on that. So. I don't even know how to start this because this is one of the simplest things, one of the easiest things that people you think have but don't have, but it's just a lot of people don't, and especially at this time of day, at this age. Look, you think the more the world advances, the more people will be smarter or people will have more sense. That's not really common. And speaking of common sense, that's our topic today. Actually. I didn't even plan it while I make it go like that. But hey, sometimes things just happen and you just roll with it. But speaking of common sense, let's talk about that. Let's talk about common sense, people. All right, we live in a time where people love to talk about who's real and who's fake. People love to talk about, oh, I'm always with the people who are real with me 100%. 100%. All right? I can't stand them fake ass people. All right? We live in a time where people are more inclined to welcome BS than they are real, you know, as real, quote, air quote, as real people speak of. All right? But again, once you tell somebody real things or you tell them something about themselves that is disliking or displeasing, that same people don't want to associate with you. That same people like, oh man, he hating. He always want to tell people something. He think he better than people. No. Don't claim you want to be around real people, but the only time somebody try to be real with you, you're, not being real. I don't know. The term real is overused, really. But, whatever, right? Let's continue. We live in a time where you gotta censor the things you say because people are sensitive, or we live in a time where people, you have to use certain terminology or certain words or certain phrases so you could tippy toe on people's feelings because people are too sensitive, too chicken, too childlike. Because if you say certain words, you either not being polite or you to make it worse, you being not politically correct. That's the time we live in. Not even about being politically correct. You being insensitive or racist or asshole to a certain, group of people. You being a bigot to certain people. But we live in a time where people want to be around real people. Come on, people. Let's use our common sense, right? But my question is, whatever in God's name happened to just having a conversation with somebody? Talking to somebody without somebody, taking it the wrong way. What happened to the days where, you have a disagreement or a little argument with somebody that, y'all just, sit and talk as adults. What happened to those days? Without somebody taking it the wrong way, or somebody thinking you hating, or you being, the word people love to use, you a hater. Somebody hating on me. Most of the time, nobody's hating on you. It's just that you never encounter somebody telling you the truth. That's all it is. And people don't like to be told the truth. So there says somebody hating on me. I got haters. Some of you ain't got no haters. The only thing you hate is to hear the truth. And I went there. All right. Whatever happened to the times where whenever you tell somebody about them not being there financially, them not being there mentally, physically, you try to tell them to better themselves. You try to tell somebody, yo, you put on a little few pounds. I mean, watch it. It's not being mean. It's just, it's better to be, healthy. Yo, these days you're talking crazy. You might want to get that checked. You want to talk about it. What happened to just, being there for somebody without somebody taking it the wrong way? Yo, you ain't be going to work lately. You cool. Are you financially stable? Like, without seeming like you butting in people's conversation. Like, what happened to those days? Or do those days ever exist, or is just in my mind, or is just in my mental? Or am I just, like thinking or reading through things that never happened or that never existed? I have a lot of questions. I could sit here and ask a lot of questions. What happened to those days? Because, again, all of this is not to say, people are this or people are that. It's just like, this is just basic things that I'm pointing out, common things that people, can't even, be confronted about or could talk to or mention to without somebody feeling some type of way. Because we all have our own mindsets, our own idea, our own, way of thinking of that. If somebody is not, falling in, or somebody's not in that bubble, or somebody's not, categorized in a certain way that to our liking, that person is automatically being a hater. But we're not using our noggin, our common sense, that sometimes the person is really not hating, they just literally being for real, for real. How about that? Huh? How about them apples? Do we ever think of that? Because as we think common sense is a common sense, not a lot of people use common sense. Like, I could sit here and list a whole lot, like a whole book, but not everybody is thinking the same way. Not everybody is there, mentally. I give. Let me go furthermore, because about the whole, what happened to telling somebody if they're mentally or physically or financially, stable, without you sounding, or without them thinking you're jealous, or you hating on them, or you envying them, or whatever. Because we all know we have that particular friend or friends or certain people in our lives that they always claim they want to be told the truth. They don't want to be around people who, always hang around the bushes. And then the same person or people or certain somebodies, if you tell them, yo, you being stupid, cut that out. No disrespect, but you being stupid. Leave it alone. Whatever certain things that they working to or working with or towards or doing, whatever it is that we all know. I don't have to point out somebody or whatever. I don't know, y'all. I can't really do that, but we all know that one person. And then, on the other hand, we have people who like, yo, appreciate for you telling me. I appreciate, you saying something out, appreciate the love. Thank you for looking out. And there's also those people, but those people are rare. Those people are like a needle in a haystack. You could barely find those people because those people know when somebody's being truthful to them, and they try to, they try to work and, better themselves. So they don't have the time to, have that ego, that they don't have the time to try to sound tough, or, try to, start fights about somebody. Like, yo, you're right. I looked, evaluated. Thanks for pointing that out. I'll put them into use. Because at the end of the day, as a human race, we're supposed to be there for each other. I know, sounds tacky, but that's where I'm at. Because at the end of the day, we all just trying to be decent human beings. At the end of the day, we all just want to be, a backbone to somebody. We all just want to be, lack of better terms, we all want to be loved, cared for. All right. That's all it is at the end of the day. It's not about, somebody being better than somebody, or it's just us using our noggin more, our head more. Because sometimes it doesn't even take for you to be, a psychologist, or, being a head doctor to simplify it or whatever. But all it takes is just evaluating and, using your noggin. And sometimes that's all it takes, just like, and again, somebody once told me, what is common sense to you? Listen to this, right? What is common sense to you is not common sense to everybody. Because what you think is, makes sense, like, why would somebody do that? Or why would somebody do this? Or why would this? Why would that? Like, you look at it funny, or you give it weird thought, or be weird faces. You might think, they would have used their common sense. Like, not what's common sense to you is common sense to everybody, because everybody ain't built the same. Everybody is not did not grow up around with the same background or the same group of people that you did, that, have your mental thinking different, or have you, you know thinking of, have, what was I gonna say, having your mental different than the way that there is, because you don't know how people, being raised or being around. But at the end of the day, it's a matter of, being open minded. Actually, that's what I was going to, because if you are open minded, a lot of things you could learn, a lot of things you could, evaluate on yourself to better you, to have you go from doing dumb shit, hopefully, to simple great things. See, we're not talking about PhD level. We're just talking about general education things. And that's where the common sense comes in. It's just all about general sense of that we need to use every single day. But again, what is common sense to you is sure ain't not common sense to anybody else. But again, we live in a time, we live in a day, and a place where people like to be around real people, but people don't like to be told what's real. Again, because if you tell somebody something, you either an asshole, you're jealous, or you're hating, you're bigoted, you're this, or you're that, blah, 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 you envious, you too much of work. All I'm saying is, I ain't no better than nobody. I probably just said some things, didn't sound, the common sensey, I guess. But I'm just here to spread the word, spread the love, spread the sense of common sense without sounding, like I said, assholey. That was not even a word, but yeah, I get my point, because you gotta say whatever you gotta say to cross your point. And to go to go furthermore, this just brings out to, I mean, we're not kids. Some of us are not kids. You be all right, because it brings to the sense where surrounding yourself with people who actually are in the same mindset. norm, with you, surrounding yourself with with people who actually pushing you away from doing things that require you not to use your. Look, just a matter of using pro and con. Okay, at the end of the day, that's where the common sense come into pro and con. All right, if I do certain things, what are the benefits for me without looking or sounding like an idiot? If I do certain things, what are the benefits for me saying them, or the way it's going to be approached? Because sometimes, sometimes using your head is going to get you in a whole lot of trouble. Because a lot of people that know me, especially if they're talking to me, I love to talk. Don't get me wrong, but unless you're like we super cool and I purposely annoy the hell out of you, that's a whole different level. But people, when I talk to people or people talking to me, I listen. 99% of the time, I listen because I don't want to say things just because and as I hear them respond back. No, you gotta listen and observe the information, no matter what it is that you're listening to. So that way you have a proper response, a proper thought to your response, a response that makes sense. So that way you don't A, say something wrong, or B, maybe, saying something answering something too quick without you even getting the full information. So that just like a prime example of using your sense, using your head. So that brings to think before you open your mouth. That's all it brings to. You gotta think before you open your mouth. You gotta think before you make a decision. You gotta think before even you commit to something. Because if you are not thinking, if you are not using your head, why is your brain even on it? Why is your brain even on your head? Why does it attach to your shoulders? I mean, just sever that mug. Take it away. It's gonna take time, but it's free to do it. Because the whole purpose of you having brain cells is to use them. The more you use them, the healthier they become. The less you use them, well, every action got a reaction, I guess. Whatever. So that's where we at on that. Because when it comes to common sense, we could talk all day. All day. Probably will make another thing about common sense in the future. I don't know how far, I don't know how long, but I may have people come over and I may have somebody to talk more about this. Don't know who, don't know when, don't know how, but it's going to be more to talk to. But at the end of the day, that's where we at. All right. So, like what happened to those days where you could ask somebody things? What happens to you saying things without sounding, like you are an asshole, or you hating, or you sound like you jealous? What happened to those days? That's my question. All right. Whoever's listening to this, you know where to find me because I'm all over the place. All you need to do is hashtag THEONLYMUKTAR all together. I'll pop up somewhere and contact me. Ask me questions. I'm always here to answer. But one of my go-to lines is, I'm no better than nobody. It's just I just like to talk about things and I just like to mention things. So when I speak on something, it doesn't mean I'm the greatest person at it. That doesn't mean I'm the best person too. But sometimes whatever it is in your mind, you gotta say it because you never know. Like I always say this too. You never know who you're going to help. You never know who is going to benefit from it. You never know how you're going to touch somebody's life. Obviously, positive. I hate English. Obviously, positively speaking, like you never know who you're going to impact. That's why if you have something positive, of course, because we already have enough crazy going on in the world. There's already enough, murderous, dangerous, crazy, hectic thing that's already going on. We shouldn't be contributing to it because we especially some of us being parents, we need to be a positive role model. We need to, be the right angle that your kids or future kids or whomever is a child that will look towards, be a prime example. Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has their little demons. Everybody does has some things that they have to overcome. But at the end of the day, is seeking the help, seeking putting attention to your issue, whatever it is that we just want to be a decent human beings. That's all it is. It's decent enough. Nobody could be perfect, but decent enough to be tolerated. All right. Again, there's already a lot of crazy things going on in the world. Let's not add to it. Let's use our common sense. If you have anything, like I said, you already know. That's where I'm going to end this, and that's where we're going to stop this at. And there's more to come in the future. And episode 2, season 2 is in the wraps. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the love. Always love is appreciated. I appreciate everybody who's listening and everybody who's watching. And thank you. Now I don't know how to end this. But yeah, so thank you for your time, and thank you for the love, people.